Hello everyone, in this video I'll be attempting to fix this PCI Radeon 9250. A friend suggested that I might be interested in fixing it due to the last video that I made, where I removed the corrosion of some IC pins. This particular Radeon 9250 is in pretty bad shape. As you can see, there is a lot of corrosion around the memory pins. There's also more corrosion around these 24-bit bus switches and also around all the other components. It's mainly the back side of the card that is affected. Full disclosure, I am using a text-to-speech technology that is based on my own real-life voice. The reason for this is to make creating videos practical, as I no longer have the time to spend hours creating voiceovers for my videos. I hope you can understand. Let's begin. I will look over the card now just to have an initial inspection of how bad things are, and yeah, this is some of the worst corrosion I've ever seen. Here are some joint pins. I was told about this. This is extremely dirty. The first thing I do is spray some IPA onto the card, and then use a toothbrush to gently brush some of the dust and corrosion off. I then use some contact cleaner and spray it on the pins of the ICs, and use the toothbrush again just to try and get an initial clean. Now I get some ordinary supermarket vinegar and drip some on over the back of the card, and gently scrub. I did leave the vinegar on the back of the card for a few minutes before I started scrubbing. Next I give the card a wash with some water and dishwashing liquid. I wash off the dishwashing liquid, and then instantly place it into a bath of distilled water. This will ensure that any line deposits from the normal tap water are washed off. I don't have any footage, but I also spray some IPA down inside the BGA cord just to displace any water that would be under it. Once the IPA is dried, I did the same thing with some contact cleaner, just to ensure that no corrosion ever occurs under the BGA. I then leave the card in the sun to dry out completely. I will start by adding some flux and solder to these two power regulators. I'm not sure if someone has attempted to take one of these off, but I tested them and they are perfectly fine. I'm just going to leave this one crooked for now. I'm going to put some no clean flux on both sides of this chip, and begin the process of putting new solder on the pins. At first this doesn't seem to work very well. As you can see, some of the corrosion is coming off. I also take care to clear any solder joins between pins. I do the same for the other memory IC. Things are really starting to clear up now. I apply the same flux to the two 24-bit bus switches and start the flux solder cleaning process. I do the same for the small MOSFET. I then start to clean the excess flux with IPA and cotton buds. This is not ideal as it leaves small strands of cotton behind. Things are looking much better, however now there is a lot of flux and gunk underneath the pins, so I need to find a solution for cleaning that out. Here we can see some very stubborn corrosion. I'm using a small metal file to very carefully rub it off. I'm not applying much force. It is not enough to scratch the solder mask off if I slip. I give it a quick clean. Next I try putting a little IPA around the pins, and using a toothbrush to brush upwards. However, this doesn't really work that well as the bristles on the toothbrush are too large, and they don't quite fit in between the gaps. Next I try a fairly stiff paintbrush, and this works a whole lot better. It gets right in between the gaps and cleans out all the flux and leftover corrosion gunk. I repeat the same thing for all the other chips. Now that everything is cleaner, I decided to give the video card a little test run, and as you can see there is quite a lot of corruption. I think this could be due to dry pin connections or faulty video memory. So I decide to try the reflowing process again to try and eliminate any dry solder joints. And as you can see, things are really starting to clean up now. Just a few stubborn pins remain. I did notice a little corrosion on the top memory ICs, so I put a little flux around the area and reflow these just to be sure. And here are the final results. I think that this is a huge improvement. If we compare the first inspection of the ICs to what we have now, it looks incredible. I think it's time now to try the last test. I will try it on my test bench board first, and then I will try and install it into a Windows 98 PC. Here we see the post screen is still corrupted, and the Knoppix screen is also corrupted. This noise you hear is the sound of the BVD drive. I should probably make a bootable Knoppix USB. Here on the screen everything looks fine. This is just before Knoppix loads a video driver. Oddly, it's been detected as a Radeon 9200 Pro, and I suspect this could be a reason for the extreme corruption as we enter the Knoppix desktop. The sound you're hearing now is rain. Just as I started filming, this huge rainstorm came overhead. This is the card installed into the system. As you can see, we're still getting corruption. However, things are visible within Windows. So I was not able to fix the card by simply reflowing and removing the corrosion. I think the next step for this card is to order some replacement memory. I did find some on AliExpress, however whether or not it's real or not needs to be tested. This particular memory is quite hard to come by these days as it's quite old. So I will leave the video here, and I may make a part 2 once the memory arrives. Thank you for watching.